Yeah, breaking news at 11. Firefighters will work all night on breaking news at 11. Firefighters will work all night on 4 different fires raging in the Southland. A state of emergency is now in effect in LA and Ventura counties, and the Thomas fire in Ventura County is now burned all the way to the ocean. Good evening, I'm Rick Garcia.
And I'm Pat Harvey, live in a Ventura neighborhood where a lot of people are having sleepless nights because their homes have been destroyed.
And here's a look at all 4 fires burning right now. They're in Ventura County, Silmar area, the Santa Clarita area, and in San Bernardino. 55,000 acres have burned in the Thomas fire in Ventura County. 11,000 acres have burned in the Creek fire that started in Silmar. And 5,000 acres have burned in the Rye fire, which is in Santa Clarita. And authorities are now telling all people who live in the city of Ventura to boil their tap water for 1 minute before drinking it. Our team is spread out. We're covering the neighborhoods most impacted. We're going to go back to Pat Harvey first. Pat?
Hi there, Rick. Yes, I am standing in Ventura at the corner of Day Road and Foothill Road in front of a home that just hours ago was completely intact. But as you can see over my right shoulder, about the only thing that's left now is a chimney. There's a lot of smoke too, but it's not coming from there. It's coming from the ground. The ground is still smoldering, and just moments ago we saw flames pop up. So they're still burning behind me, and that's why we have firefighters here with us to help keep us safe, as flames have been hopscotching across homes in this neighborhood for the past couple of nights. It's pretty quiet out here now. The winds are calm right now, but we understand that flames have crossed the 101 freeway at Solomar Beach, so that's where we're going to go to Crystal Cruz right now to find out what's going on there. Crystal.
Hi, Pat. What a wild image behind me right up there. Looks like a volcano erupted, lava coming down, but that is actually fire creeping down the hillside. We've seen some of those flames jump over the 101. You can see some of them super large at this hour, but right here, this is the Pacific Coast Highway we're standing on. Now I want to show you these beachfront homes right here. They're just a stone's throw away from water, and back there looks like the flames have almost reached the beach and the ocean. It looks like a fire crew might be up there, and also the 101 still moving at this hour, and that is amazing because let's show you some video we shot about an hour ago. This is video from the 101 as we were heading this way. The flames so intense, the fire so strong, I could feel it through the door, through the window. At points, my photographer worried when we pulled over, basically saying keep the keys in the car, keep the car running just in case we need to run away from the situation out here tonight. At that point, we did see some CHP telling people to be careful. Some folks, some looky-loos, were pulling over to the side of the freeway having a look. Crews, as you can imagine, telling them to get on their way, get down the road. One motorcyclist, he was stopping to take photos, but just a wild image as flames hopped over the 101 to the beach. Now let's go back out here live and we'll show you again. Let's zoom in, tight shot right over there. I'm not sure if the flames are actually at the water. From this vantage point, that's probably a quarter mile away, but they are very close, if not at the water at this point. So that is what we've been seeing for the last hour and maybe a half. But so far, the 101's still open, and that's amazing because the flames have gotten so close, actually hopping over to the other side. That's the latest here from Ventura, near the water, and the 101 and the Pacific Coast Highway, and right up there, the flames still out of control tonight. I'll send it back to you.
Well, as we've been talking about, the Thomas fire that started last night is still burning in Ventura. In fact, making my way up the 101 freeway out here from Calabasas, I can see the flames in the distance. We understand that Stu Mundell is overhead in Sky 2, as he has been for the past couple of nights, to give us an update on what's happening with that fire now. Stu?
Well, there's still a lot of hot spots out here in the Ventura County area, and this is actually in Ventura City. This is going to be on the eastern part of Ventura City. You can see that hot spot here low on the hill. Now, firefighters are in the area, and they are still doing structure protection. There's one of the homes right there just below those flames, and there are fire trucks there doing structure protection. Now, the flames are not close enough to the point where they are actually actively fighting those fires, but they are in the area, and this watch continues. This is just one small spot that's still burning out here in the Ventura County area. Live in Sky 2, I'm Stu Mendel. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, firefighters have been anticipating and dreading that this fire would cross the 33 and make its way to Ojai, and apparently that's what's happening now. We are going to go to Tom Waite to fill us in on exactly where that fire is. Tom?
Yeah, Pat, a lot of concerns about that fire, and you can see there are still homes that are threatened by the flames on this hillside. As you said, right along Highway 33. Firefighters have been monitoring the hotspots here all night. Embers have been blowing, and as you'll see now, they have destroyed buildings and homes. A raging fire tears through a nursery and the home that was attached to it. Neighbors say the couple who lived here spent years creating their business. It only took a few embers to bring it down.
Something blew over, caught the palm trees on fire. When the palm trees caught on fire, it just started.
Douglas Jones is the pastor at the church across the street from where the nursery burned. He spent the evening nervously watching these flames up on the hillside behind his church creep closer to the building and the nearby neighborhood.
We have family that go to the church that live all around here. Fire department's done a wonderful job. They saved all of our friends' homes on this side of the street.
The wind-driven fire came dangerously close to this home. There were several rescues in the neighborhood. And while there were evacuation orders in Kcbs Springs, some neighbors came home despite the warnings.
It's something that I never wanted to see. It's a terrible feeling. Everything behind our house burned, but we're sitting pretty, it looks like. Get it!
Meanwhile, homeowners in Santa Paula did all they could as flames driven by changing and shifting winds drove closer to their homes. Firefighters were able to stop the flames. And looking live right now, again, those hot spots, such a big concern out here, especially for the neighbors who live here, many of whom did evacuate, but some came back. But as they came back this evening, they're seeing this right now and really sort of second-guessing that decision. These flames are not going fast. We don't have a lot of wind right now. That's the good news. As we've had earlier in the day, of course, we had those huge gusts that fueled and forced those flames down the hillsides, up hillsides, and, of course, destroyed so many homes. That's not happening right now, and firefighters are not in any sort of frantic mode right now, but they are out here and they are monitoring the situation very closely. Reporting live in Kcbs Springs, I'm Tom Waite. Rick, back to you.
All right, thank you, Tom. Our reporter Christine Lazar was right in the middle of one of the creek fire's powerful turns today. She was at Gibson Ranch in Sunland as flames raced down a hillside right toward the animals. It happened so quickly, in fact, firefighters weren't even there. So Christine and her photographer Marvin Stone put their camera and equipment down and helped guide the horses to safety. Other volunteers driving by also stopped to help. All of the horses were saved, but one suffered some bad burns. CBS 2's Rachel Kim is live at Pierce College in Woodland Hills, where that horse is being cared for. Rachel?
Well, Rick, over 200 horses and large animals have been brought here to Pierce College. Owners have been reuniting with their animals all day, and vets have been treating the injured animals. We want to warn you that some of the images you're about to see may be hard to watch. 7-year-old Ruben was burned over 65% of his body. His right eye is swollen and inflamed. His eyelashes and mane burned, but he made it. His owner, Virginia Padilla, says when her Little Tahunga ranch caught fire around 4 a.m., they weren't able to get her horses out. But LA County Animal Control went in and rescued some of them and brought them here. They did that with many other people's horses, too. Some are okay, others more seriously injured, like this mare whose mane was totally burned and she may lose her vision. As for Ruben's owner, Virginia, she tells us she had over 60 horses. Only 15 made it out.
It's awful. There's no words to explain it. I'm very fortunate that he is alive because, I mean, so many people lost their horses and they don't even have that. They don't, so I feel for those people, to be honest.
The good news is Ruben is expected to be okay. He's on antibiotics and pain meds. Now, the folks here at Pierce College say at one point they were at full capacity, but they built about 24 extra stalls just in case. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Rachel. Fire crews doing a good job handling the fire in Santa Clarita Valley tonight. An explosive wildfire broke out near the Rye Canyon Loop Business Park and jumped the Interstate 5 there. It quickly grew to 5,000 acres. Several neighborhoods in Magic Mountain were evacuated. But tonight the fire is high up in the Santa Susana Mountains and not threatening the Santa Clarita Valley anymore. The northwest San Fernando Valley has been through the ringer. CBS 2's Lori Perez is live in Shadow Hills, where homes there are still threatened. Lori?
Rick, that's right. We're pretty high up in a neighborhood in the Shadow Hills area, and this is a prime example of the many battles that the firefighters are fighting on many fronts. 2 hours ago, these guys behind me were gone. The house fire they were fighting was pretty much out, but as the winds have continued, it has picked back up again, so they have returned. We have video of what it looked like this afternoon when the flames from across the valley came racing up the hill.
The fire was gigantic. I mean, the whole sky was filled with flames.
Just a minute. Neighbors say that's all it took for a house that's been on Hill Rose Street since the 40s to go up in flames. The intense fire leaving nothing but a shell. It happened early this afternoon. Neighbors say they saw no chance of stopping it. The winds were too strong and firefighters had to focus instead on containing the fire to just that house.
It's not over yet. Unless the wind dies down or the conditions die down. It's too fierce. These winds are just indescribable right now. You see that? You know, it's just unbelievable here. Firestorm is what's a firestorm is here.
Next door neighbors are very emotional, both grateful the homeowners got out safely and thankful their homes are still standing, praying they stay that way as fires continue to burn across the valley, so far, yet so close.
And all of a sudden, I see from the other side, fire came to our side. So scary. I don't want it to happen to anybody. Thanks God to these firefighters. Thank you. Thank you. They saved our house.
She was very emotional. At last check, this Hill Street was not under any mandatory evacuations. Some homeowners are choosing to leave. Others are going to stick it out for as long as they know that it is safe. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Lori. Continuing coverage of the fire still ahead.
A lot of people race from their homes trying to escape the flames and the threat of it. We're going to hear from a lot of those people that are spending the night in a Ventura evacuation center when we come right back. Keep it right there.
This is my community. This is how we roll in the 805.
Fire victims are making the most of a tough situation and encouraging each other.
Hi, everybody. I'm Garth Kemp. Coming up, we're going to talk about the winds, a little respite from the heavy winds, but we're not done with it yet. It's all coming up.
Tonight on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, actress Saoirse Ronan, civil rights advocate Van Jones, plus comedian Michelle Wolf. People in San Bernardino are back home tonight after the Little Mountain Fire. Evacuations were lifted. The fire burned 100 acres and damaged some homes. Fire officials say it's no longer a threat. Imagine driving right by this. This small brush fire broke out in Porter Ranch, right beside the 118 freeway during the evening rush hour commute. It only burned about a quarter of an acre, and firefighters were able to quickly knock it down. Let's go back to Pat Harvey live in Ventura.
Schools will be closed. All right, thank you, Rick. You know, a lot of schools will be closed in the area tomorrow. I'm sure some students are going to be pretty happy about that. In fact, 11 LAUSD schools will be closed in northern San Fernando Valley. Lots of schools will be closed in Ventura County. In fact, the list is too long to give you all of them right now, but you can get a full list on our website at cbsla.com. And keep in mind, it's not just the flames that are keeping the schools closed, it's the air quality. The smoke is so heavy. In fact, it's pretty heavy out here right now, even though the winds aren't blowing, but that's the after fact of all of these fires that are burning here in Ventura and across Ventura County and some parts of Los Angeles County. In fact, we know Stu Mundell is still overhead in Sky 2. And Stu, I'm going to ask you where your location is. I know you were in Ventura keeping an eye on that Thomas fire. Are you still there?
Oh, we're still looking at the Thomas fire, and this is actually what's considered a small hotspot. It is actually just above the Santa Paula area, but this is just one of these small hotspots that they've been talking about. There's dotting all along the hillsides out here. 50,000 acres has burned out here in the Thomas fire. We understand right now a lot of fire activity over in the Oak View area and heading out towards the Ojai area. Sky 2 can't make it out to those locations because of the darkness, but we are keeping an eye on these hotspots here in Santa Paula. Live in Sky 2, I'm Stu Mundell. Pat, back to you.
You know, as I mentioned, I'm standing in front of a home at Day Road and Foothill Road, where, as I mentioned, just hours ago, this house was still standing. In fact, this is one of the oldest homes in Ventura. This house was built in 1958. A couple, first-time home buyers, purchased this home last year. After talking to our friends from Chula Vista Fire Department out here, we were told that they came to the house at about 9:30 this morning, getting their belongings to evacuate because they were told to get out immediately. They left the home not knowing what to expect, obviously, but they did receive the news, the worst kind of news that any homeowner will want to hear, that their home has burned to the ground. So we're not exactly sure where that couple is tonight. We know they were very distraught about what happened, not sure if they're with friends or other family members or at an evacuation center, like many people who had to leave their homes quite suddenly or left really with nowhere to go but the evacuation centers that were set up around Ventura. There was one in particular at the Ventura County Fairgrounds that took in people this afternoon, and many are spending the night there. We want to give you some sound of what some of those people experienced. You'll find that some people experienced joy, some despair, and some a lot of hope.
One day at a time. It's really emotional because we're lucky to stay here.
Sad situation, very sad.
Sad right now, but I'm a little happy because we escaped.
And it does share that there is hope and that we come together as a community to help each other, especially in these harsh times.
Well, a lot of different emotions throughout the area tonight, and no doubt a lot of people are pulling together. And that's one of the good news stories that have come out of all of this. We see a lot of people that never even knew each other before that are meeting in shelters like this one that are giving some comfort to each other through this very trying and devastating situation that is not over yet. Rick?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Pat. That's right. Difficult times bringing people together. Thank you. Garth, the weather conditions going to change at all overnight and into tomorrow?
Well, we're going to ease off just a little bit, Rick, and I'm hoping that will let them get up some really big aircraft to fight for these fires as the wind should die down enough for that. We'll get out of that high wind territory, I think, for a short period of time. Good evening, everybody. Lots going on. 52 degrees. Let's get to it as quickly as we can. Temperatures are cool. This is cold air being moved in. That's not a big surprise to anybody. We're starting to release the cold air off to the east. The winds are better. 6 right now. Oxnard, 11 Santa Clarita. Remember last night, there were about 50 miles an hour. So the Thomas fire right now gust down to around 26 miles an hour. Santa Clarita, we're gusting at around 20 miles an hour for the Rye fire there. The Creek fire at around 34 miles an hour. So there's the dew point, the humidity. Single digits as well, low teens throughout the area, a little better out towards San Bernardino. But when I say 20% is better, remember, we're usually up to around 80% through the overnight evening hours. So this is what the wind gusts look like. As we make our way through tomorrow morning, join us at CBS 2. We will be on at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Danielle will have you updated on that. Stephanie will, of course, have you with all the traffic. So we'll have traffic and weather together. 36 miles an hour, better than the 60 to 70 to 80 miles an hour we saw earlier this morning. So tomorrow morning we'll have the winds. They won't be as strong, but then as we get Wednesday night, Thursday morning, an inside slider spins up and we go right back up again to where we were today. That is the second round that really is going to pack some punch and bring even more issues to us as the humidity goes down. Red flag warnings are going to stay in effect through the area. The high wind warning is going to affect. We do have freeze warnings to add insult to injury up here as well. Red flag warnings for the entire area now being extended out through Friday. A quick look at your 7-day just to give you a heads up. 77. We're going to keep the winds going to Friday. We'll start to lose them as we get to the weekend. Boy, Rick, I can't tell you how bad you can feel for the people that have gone through all of this. And, of course, they're animals. We hope for the best. Stay with us here. We'll keep you updated.
Yes, we do. All right. Thank you, Garth. All the smoke has local museums on edge. Find out why the Getty Center and the Getty Villa are closing, even though they're far from the flames. The popular Getty Center and the Getty Villa are closing tomorrow because of concerns smoke could damage the artwork. Getty officials also closed down the attractions today to keep the collections protected. We're going to show you how Rams players are helping fire victims. And Jim Hill is just ahead with a star both on and off the field for the Chargers.
And good evening, everyone. We begin sports tonight with college basketball and the latest Ball family drama. After withdrawing his son, LeAngelo, from UCLA yesterday, Father LeVar Ball is reportedly weighing options on his middle son to play overseas. Those options may be limited after LeAngelo Ball appeared in just one exhibition game for the Bruins last year and isn't on most draft scouting's lists. Today, UCLA head coach Steve Alford reacted to the news.
He didn't get to be a part of an incredible academic institution, so that's out. And he doesn't get to be a part of what I think is an incredible basketball program with great teammates and coaches that care about him. And so, yeah, there's definitely a disappointment that there's some finality to that.
As for the eldest Ball's son, he's nursing tightness in both calves, but practiced today and expects to be on the court on Thursday as the Lakers tip off a 4-game road trip in Philadelphia. In the midst of a 5-game losing streak, the Lakers are searching for answers to end the skid.
It's not going to get any easier for us, but that's an exciting challenge to see how we can respond and how we can fight and grind out of this to get our next win.
You know, it's going to be big for us. We play some good teams. Got to come together and get some wins.
To the ice we go in hockey. The Kings hosting the Wild at the Staples Center. Tied at 2 in the third period. Andre Kempe plays it across. Goalie Devin Butnick tries to clear it, but it goes off the defender's skate and right past him for the goal. The Kings would go on to win by a score of 5-2. As far as the Ducks are concerned, in Las Vegas taking on the Golden Knights. This one went into a shootout tied at 3. Anaheim needs a goal from Andre Cachet to stay alive, but Malcolm Subban is right there for the save. The Ducks lose 4-3 and have now lost 7 of their last 8 games. Now down at the StubHub Center, Charger running back Melvin Gordon and Rally Health hosted a holiday bike build for about 150 kids from the Boys and Girls Club of Carson. This is really amazing. Gordon helped the kids trick out their new bikes and talked about the importance of staying healthy and staying in school. And the young kids really, really loved it. And that's sports for the 11 o'clock hour. Rick?
I love that. You see the guys getting out there, rolling up their sleeves and hanging out with people.
And you can see the kids and their big eyes. Oh, yeah, they appreciate that very much.
We all remember that as kids, seeing those guys.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Just ahead, another live check with Pat Harvey, who's in a Ventura neighborhood devastated by the Thomas fire. And remember to follow us on social media. We're CBS LA on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you see news happening, we'd love it if you'd share your story ideas, your photos, and your videos by using the hashtag CBSLA. We're going to check back in with Pat Harvey. She's live in Ventura. Pat?
Hey, Rick, you know, when you hear people talk about Southern California, they often think of sort of a tale of two cities, so to speak. You know, there are the big movie stars and the athletes and all that, and then there's the regular folk. But, you know, when there's a crisis, when something strikes one, it seems to strike all of us. And I'm sort of leading up to show you some video from one of the Rams players. In fact, there were several of them today that reached out and reached within to help their fellow citizens today. In particular, I want to show you some video of Rams punter Johnny Heckler. He brought in cartloads of donations to the Ventura shelter. And looking at something like that could just warm your heart, because that's when we do come together, when it's for humanity and the good of all people. And that's really what's happening here right now, and it will be for the next several days as we wait overnight to see what these fires are going to do. And I'm sure we have some rough days still ahead after listening to all the fire officials out here. And some of these firefighters that are still dead tired, who haven't had any sleep, that are still wide awake to help us out. So that's it from here in Ventura. I was glad to be out here and kind of feel what's happening. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Pat.